Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the MeanGene Show here on KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM, Las Vegas. Getting you ready for the NFL Divisional Playoffs here on this NFL playoff weekend here. I am joined, as always, by my co-host here. He joins me each and every week here. He is from Ballys Sports Southeast, covers the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets. Please welcome to the show, Dustin Phifer. Hey, Dustin.
Hey, Gene. How's it going today?
It's not going, Dustin. It's one of those technology difficulty days, and I tell you what, we're going to get through this show. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it without a hitch because we got so much football to talk about, and it's going to be fine. Now, I know before we got on the air, you told me that it's freezing out there on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's here in Charlotte, we get a little bit of cold weather, but we don't really get a lot of snow. And we had snow and ice last weekend, and now today the high is only 30, and the real feel right now is 18 degrees, and we have some more snow coming tonight. So definitely trying to adjust to those temperatures. I wish I was in a lot warmer place right now.
You and me both, because I am in Arkansas right now doing the show. So go figure. So I'm doing the show in Arkansas, but it's for the folks in Las Vegas. Go figure. So I wish we were both on the West Coast because I think it's a little bit warmer out there. But, yeah, it's about 23 degrees where I'm at. So, I can't help you, Dustin. I can't I can probably send you maybe 6 degrees. I don't think that's going to help you, though.
Hey, I'll just keep daydreaming about Vegas. Hey, listen, even if it's cold in Vegas, you have stuff to do to keep you warm. So
I know it, man. Well, I tell you what, folks, the show is brought to you by Presidential Limousine, by Captain. Look them up on Google. Just Google Presidential Limousine by Captain, because I don't have a telephone number. I do apologize, but you've heard me say it a million times. You want to ride in style in Las Vegas, Presidential Limousine by Captain. We also brought to you by the Westgate Sportsbook there, because it is booming and busy. I know it was last weekend. I know it's going to be happening again this weekend because people are trying to get those bets in for the division rounds. They were there last week for the wild card weekend. And get on out there because, man, we are, things are just really narrowing down here as the Super Bowl and all that great stuff is going to be happening, the Pro Bowl and everything, and NBA and NHL. So you can definitely get over there to the sports book at the Westgate and make your bet. So, all right. So I guess the first segment of this show here, we are going to just kind of go back and grade our picks from last week because, as you know, by the time the show aired last Saturday, the games that were played on Saturday had already taken place, so we were either right or wrong. And good Lord, I couldn't wait for Saturday to be over because I'm like, man, is there any way they could just not play that show? Because Dustin, I was totally off last week.
yeah, that was a good weekend. Good weekend for me. I didn't want to come on here and rub it in too much, but sometimes we definitely get talked about when our picks are not good. So a nice little 2-0 day for me on Saturday. A close game to start with the Bengals and Raiders that really came down to the wire. That's what you want to see in the playoffs. And then the nightcap, the Bills they put it to the Patriots, and that was a convincing win to beat their division rival.
Yeah, that AFC wildcard game there with the Raiders and Bengals, 26-19, and let's talk about that a little bit because, as conservative as the Raiders played in that game last week, it was a winnable game. And, of course, it just seemed like officiating was the major topic at the end of that game where the Raiders looked like a touchdown was given to the Bengals that shouldn't have been. And what did you make of that? And then the NFL's response to that and as far as, pulling that referee crew?
Yeah, that was definitely a situation that was not a good look for the referees. I mean, it's one of those things where, you blow the whistle too soon when a play is still going on. So really, you hurt the Bengals because Joe Burrow was in bounds. You shouldn't have been blowing the whistle. But then at the same time, you do blow the whistle, so the play should stop, and they don't stop the play. So then what happens is you hurt the Raiders. So, I mean, really, it's just a bad decision for a playoff crew. It's something that they're going to have to live with. Like you said, the NFL pulled the crew, but by the rules, that's something that play should have been stopped and replayed. So I can definitely see where the beef comes from for the Raiders in a one-score game like that.
Yeah, I felt bad for the Raiders because even without that errant whistle that happened there, I mean, it was still a game that the Raiders looked like they could win, and it just seemed like they just played so conservative there. I wanted them to just open it up and just take shots down the field and take a chance, and they just never did. It was just that dip and dink type of play.
Yeah, they never did it, and that's surprising when you talk about the Raiders. The way that Carr's been playing with the weapons they have with Waller back, Deshaun Jackson as a deep threat downfield. Even Zay Jones was catching some balls. You have the weapons to take the shots, and so I agree with you. I think they should have put some more trust in Derek Carr. He's led this team the entire year. He's shown that he can be a proven quarterback, and so I think you got to give him more chances to go out there and win that game for you. And you saw it. He had them going on the drive at the end, but even on the end, like you said, too many, 5-yard passes and 6-yard passes ate up too much time on the clock, and they just ran out of time at the end.
Yeah, especially speaking of the end. I mean, even that one, pass at the very end, that wasn't enough. I mean, it wasn't even enough to, if you're gonna, throw a pass, get in the end zone. It was going to be short. But anyway. So the Raiders eliminated from the playoffs, and I guess we have to give the Bengals some credit there as they advance, to the divisional rounds, and we'll talk about that in the next segment as far as what their expectations are going to be. And let's talk about that nightcap game. Oh my goodness, 47-17, and I just can't remember the last time a Bill Belichick team got beat so bad in the playoff game, Dustin.
Yeah, I definitely think the Bills had some revenge on their mind from the last time they had that game, in Buffalo, where it was windy and the Patriots only threw the ball 3 times and ran it down their throats. You definitely could tell that the Bills wanted to get some revenge, and you can definitely kind of tell what we talked about going into the playoffs, that the Bills were just the team playing the better football. And again, I thought it would be a closer game than that, but the reason I picked the Bills is because of Josh Allen. And I think he is really taking it upon himself to show that, hey, I'm that guy that can lead this team to a Super Bowl. You get paid the $250 million. You want to show that you're that guy. And when you have Josh Allen playing like that, and you have the number one defense in the league on the other side of the ball, you're a dangerous combination. And right now, we talk about teams getting hot at the right time, and right now the Bills have it rolling. So they've got, even though they beat the Patriots and got a playoff win, the way they're playing, they still got some high expectations going forward in these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, hot arm. Everything was just looking good last Saturday. Josh Allen, 21 of 25, 308 yards, 5 touchdowns. Amazing there. And Devin Singletary, that's a name that people haven't really talked about a whole lot there. 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, I mean, it was just crazy. It was just no one I wouldn't have placed, and we talk about, the Westgate and Sportsbook. There's just no way that I would have put, money on the Bills just taking care of the Patriots like that. As a matter of fact, I picked the Raiders to win Saturday, and I picked the Patriots to win. And so, I couldn't wait for last Saturday to be over, right?
No, and I didn't have the Bills winning by that much, but I did have them winning the game, and I texted a buddy during the game, and you can tell me, Gina, and obviously there's a lot of talented QBs in the league, but when you watch the ball come off of Josh Allen's arm, I mean, it doesn't even look real. It's like shot out of a cannon. So it's unbelievable the arm strength that he has. And he had that coming out of college, but he did not have the accuracy. And now he's putting both together. And it's just when you have that kind of arm and accuracy and you can use your legs, it's a dangerous combination.
Dangerous combination. So, all right, well, that was the Saturday recap. And then Sunday we had 3 games. And it was a very long day, about, 12 hours of football for me as I sat there in what I call my boom boom room and watched the Eagles and the Buccaneers, the 49ers and the Cowboys and the Steelers and the Chiefs. So let's start with the recap of the Buccaneers and the Eagles. Buccaneers win 31-15, not even close, really. I think the 15 points that the Eagles got was in garbage time, as they say in the NBA. And but the game was put away. I think one particular time it was like 17-0. It just wasn't even close there. Buccaneers made quick work of the Eagles and did what we expected them to do. That was the one game I did get right to start off the Super Wild Card weekend.
Yeah. As good as my picks were throughout the weekend, this one was not one of them. For some reason, I had it in my head, hey, the Bucs are banged up. The Eagles have a run game. They might have a chance to pull the upset, and I was completely wrong. I mean, it was dominated from the start, like you said. That final score does not do it justice. I think it was 30. We said 31-0 at some point. So I mean, the way they handled the line of scrimmages, was just dominating. I don't think the Eagles, they didn't run the ball as much as I thought they would. They didn't use Jalen Hurts' legs as much as I thought they would.
Nope.
And what we talked about, the same thing we talked about with the Raiders, they didn't take enough chances downfield. And when you're trying to pull an upset, you got to take some chances. And they just didn't do it enough. And then once you get behind on Tom Brady, you're not coming back. And Tom Brady does what he does. He has a good game, finds his teammates, finds Mike Evans, and they're moving on to another playoff game.
Yeah, the Eagles get those 15 points in the fourth quarter. Like you said, the game was pretty much over. It was already 31 points put up, and Buccaneers didn't have anything to prove at that point. And it's just, and we're talking about the Buccaneers and this Rams matchup coming up here this weekend, and like you said, Dustin, you had every reason to doubt the Buccaneers because the stat sheet just didn't look right. I mean, with all the injuries and things that were happening, it just didn't seem. It seemed like the Eagles would come in there at the right time and just steal one. But man, do not count the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out yet.
Yeah, as long as I think we said it, as long as you got number 12 as your quarterback, it really doesn't matter who's around you. He's going to give you a chance to win. And we'll talk about it later in the show. I am concerned with even more injuries than they had going into last week. So there's going to be a lot talking about the pressure on them. But again, regardless of who's banged up and who may or may not play, Tom Brady back there, he's on a mission. He wants to repeat again. He wants to show people that he's still the guy. So, I mean, they're always going to be a threat to win the Super Bowl when he's back there behind the center.
Always going to be a threat. And then the game of the day, the Dallas Cowboys at home, AT&T Stadium, the roof open, the sun shining bright in Dallas. And the San Francisco 49ers came into town and beat the Cowboys 23-17. And one of the most predictable upsets I've ever seen in a playoff game, Dustin.
Yeah, it definitely was, which is one of the reasons I took the 49ers. And the way that game went for three quarters is why I picked the 49ers. The physicality, the line of scrimmage, the being able to run the ball, having playmakers like Deebo Samuel. Yes, the Cowboys have some playmakers, but they've been struggling to really get them going. So I like the way that the 49ers are playing. That's why I took them. They ended up coming out on top. Now, I got a lot closer than I thought it was going to get. A nice little run by the Cowboys, and Jimmy G tried to give the game away. But the 49ers were able to hang on, and I'm glad that we finally had a really good game. I know the Raiders game was good and this game was good, but overall throughout the weekend we had a lot of blowouts as well. So it was good to see that drama, especially in a rivalry game like this with the 49ers and Cowboys and how far back they go. And once again, Gene, what happens? It comes down to clock management. It comes down to plays at the end. And we've talked about this with Mike McCarthy all year. Yeah. And I want to get your thoughts on it, but I just definitely think it was, a terrible call to do that QB sneak at the last play of the game.
I mean, it's like you said, it's not the first time Mike McCarthy's decision making has come into question, and clock management and everything. I mean, it just seems to be a big blemish on his resume as a coach, and the fact that I tell you what, I don't know if the Jones sons talked Jerry out of firing, or maybe Jerry talked his sons out of firing Mike McCarthy. I don't know what happened, but I know that Mike McCarthy was on life support, so to speak, as far as a coach last week. And somehow he survived. But, man, I don't know. I think that he's going to have to do better. And that still is going to be a question going into next year with him. I mean, it seems like he has to check himself and make better decisions because he is the head coach. Regardless of who the offensive coordinator is, he still makes the last, say-so on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And, listen, we're giving a lot of blame to McCarthy, but you still got to put some blame on the players to go out there and execute as well. And, Dak gets that big contract. He needs to go out there and show he's the guy. And, Dak didn't play terrible, but he just didn't make those plays you normally would make to win a game. And, CeeDee Lamb goes with one catch. I mean, that's one of your best weapons, and you don't get him the ball. There's just a lot of things to go around. And then the thing we haven't even talked about that also it goes back to players and coaching in combination, Gene, is the penalties. I mean, they just killed themselves with penalties all day.
They did.
And that goes back to coaching and being undisciplined. And, listen, if Mike McCarthy, like you said, it sounds like he's going to keep his job, but there's a lot of uncertainty there because, like you said, what's going to change going to next year? And the big thing is you could lose both of your coordinators who are considered the strength of your team with, Dan Quinn getting head coaching interviews, Kellen Moore getting coaching
Yeah.
interviews. So if you lose those type of guys, and then now you kind of bring in other people, that's even more of a spotlight on McCarthy. So there's a lot going on there. And then, the Cowboys roster has a lot of big contracts. So they kind of are
Yeah.
what they are. So
Yeah.
this is kind of win now mode, not just playoffs. It's, get into the Super Bowl. That's why there's so much disappointment. But there is a lot of, question marks going into the Cowboys next season as long as Mike McCarthy's the head coach.
Yeah, you're talking about a drought, man. It's just been one of the longest droughts for Cowboys fans that that I can remember. You're talking about a whole generation has gone by to where, they haven't, made it deep in the postseason. But anyway, and the nightcap on Sunday was and I did pick the Cowboys to win that game, by the way, last week, and they didn't. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs had played the Steelers, I think, in Week 16 and manhandled them and pretty much did the same. Big Ben, probably the last playoff game, his last game actually, as a player, and the Chiefs beat the Steelers 42-21, not even close at all. Disappointing loss for Steelers fans because you just figured that the team would show up for Big Ben. Just like they said, go out, have fun, play. But man, still, it's a game. It's a respectable game, and it just was another game. It was the same Pittsburgh Steelers that we've seen, where drop passes and Ben. We know why Ben needs to step away because he just don't have it anymore. But the Chiefs did exactly what they were supposed to do and beat a bad team.
Yeah, they definitely did. And I'll tell you what, like you said, the Steelers came out playing hard when they got that defensive touchdown. I thought, okay, they're in this, they're ready to play, because that's what it was going to take was, the defense making a play like that to be able to keep them in this game. And so, they had they were doing all the right things early on, but it's just so hard to keep a good Kansas City offense down like that. And so they were able to make some plays. And, the thing is, the Steelers did all they could do. They were, I'm not just saying they're a prideful organization, so they obviously wanted to win, but they kind of knew they were undermatched. But still a good effort. Tomlin had them ready to play, but just two different leagues there with Kansas City and Pittsburgh this season. So kind of what we expected there to close out that game.
Yeah, and the Chiefs, they make it to another divisional round there, and folks are really looking at the Chiefs to go far, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. But man, they look like it's just not that same Kansas City Chiefs that started the year off, losing all those games, Dustin. They really look like they are, going to make a serious run here in these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're going to talk about this in the picks, but that's what's going to make this Bills Chiefs game so crazy because it's probably the two hottest teams, at least in the AFC right now, let alone in the NFL. So, I mean, it's setting up to be some big time matchups this weekend because I think really everybody that's left in the playoffs now has a chance to really go to the Super Bowl, and you honestly can't say that every year.
No.
But when you have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense rolling like that and their defense playing the way they're playing, you're right. They have to be one of the teams to beat going forward.
And let's talk about the first ever wild card game on a Monday night, which turned out to be, I guess we can call it the Monday Night Massacre, as the Los Angeles Rams takes care of the Arizona Cardinals 34-11. And I know, Dustin, you love these Rams. So what did you think about that Monday Night Massacre?
Well, that right there, Gene, was the team that I picked from day one before we even played a snap of football to go to the Super Bowl. That's the kind of performance I was looking for them, especially at home. Obviously Arizona got off to a hot start, but we knew they were kind of falling off. And so if you're a Rams team who is playing for a Super Bowl, you need to go out there and handle business and not just make it this crazy close game. You need to show that you're the better team. And they did that from the start. Defensive side, offensive side, Matt Stafford was slinging it. And I'll tell you what, Browns fans are probably sitting back going, why couldn't we do this with Odell Beckham? And I know they have Cooper Kupp, who is definitely taking up a lot of the attention. But it just goes to show you that guy is a playmaker. And even if it's just red zone or whatever, just throw the ball up to him and he'll make the plays. And so having those two guys, I really like what I saw from the Rams, and it really makes me look at them even harder going forward to continue to be that Super Bowl contender that I thought they were.
Dustin, I don't. Yeah, well, the Rams are ready. The Rams are a well-oiled machine, and I've never seen a football team continuously improve. I mean, they just didn't start with the team they started with to begin this season. This team continuously improves. I mean, as far as late in the year, they are out there acquiring big-time names like Von Miller, and then they lose one of their running backs and they get Cam Akers back, and he makes a difference in that game Monday night. And then they get Odell Beckham. I mean, this team, I've never seen a team so scary, and in the postseason. And this team is scary, and they make quick work of the Cardinals. Now, I want to say some of the things I saw with Arizona was scary. Now this is a team that I picked to do well. Now I didn't pick them to go far, but I did pick them to improve. But how they fell apart late is mind-boggling. It seems like once DeAndre Hopkins left that team, it just seemed like he was the glue that kept the team together. But as soon as he left, man, they just went in a whole different direction.
Yeah, and obviously Hopkins is a big loss, and we know that he's one of their playmakers. But one guy should not make your team drop off that much if you're a good team. And so this is 2 years in a row that the Cardinals have really got off to hot starts and then fallen apart. Last year they fell apart so much they didn't even make the playoffs, and then this year they had such a good start they were able to still get in. And that's gonna, I know he's a good coach and they like him out there, but you got to start throwing some questions Cliff Kingsbury's way. If he's the guy to really make this go, you've got a guy who you think can be a star quarterback in Kyler Murray, and I really think in Kingsbury's offense and game plan that he puts too much on Kyler Murray.
He does,
and we all know he's great with his arm and his legs, but when you do that to a guy, all you're going to do is A, wear them out and get them injured, especially with his size, and B, you force him to make some of those mistakes that he made, like that throw from the end zone was inexcusable.
Oh my goodness!
And the quarterback shouldn't make it, but when you're putting that much pressure on the quarterback to make plays, he's trying to make something happen. And so there's a lot of questions going into the offseason to really make sure that they take some pressure off of him. I think the hot seat is getting hotter and hotter for Cliff Kingsbury going into next year.
I agree with you, and back to that play. I think I tuned the game out after that. When I saw that, I said, "Wait a minute, you got to be kidding me! You have to be kidding me! What was he thinking? You just don't see a quarterback. He knew better." And you're talking about a gift. I know Christmas was last month, but the Rams was like, really? Was that not the easiest touchdown?
I think you said it perfectly though. That's a play, even though it was early in the game. That's a play where you see it and you go, you know what, this game's over. Because I mean, that's just to kind of turns on a dime and puts it out of reach for you.
Yeah. There was just no way. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, folks, I can just say this right now that the Rams now, I'm not giving any picks away right now because we're getting ready to do that in the next segment, but the Rams are a scary team. They are just scary.
They're very scary. And we said it all along that the biggest thing that was holding them back the last few weeks was the turnovers by Matt Stafford. And we saw that he took care of the ball this week. And when he takes care of the ball and has playmakers and then has that defense, I mean, again, like we talk about with these other teams, they're definitely a contender to make that deep run.
All right. Well, we are at the bottom of the hour, and my hands are sweating right now with the excitement of getting ready to make these picks here. And I get excited talking about the Rams. I get excited because I know where the Super Bowl is going to be played at. I guess that's what it is. But anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour, and when we come back, we are going to make our NFL Divisional Playoff picks here. So you are listening to the MeanGene Show right here with Dustin Phifer on KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM, Las Vegas. And we are back, folks. Once again, you're listening to the MeanGene Show here on KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM in Las Vegas. And my co-host, Dustin Phifer from Ballys Sports Southeast, is joining me. Dustin covers the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets. Hey, Dustin, how's Charlotte doing anyway?
I'm gonna tell you what, Gene, that they're playing some good basketball right now. They've got it rolling. I believe they're 9-2 in their last 11 games. Just took down the Celtics on ESPN on national TV on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they're 25-20 They're sitting in 7th place in the Eastern Conference, but they're only 3.5 games out of the 1 seed. So the Eastern Conference is jumbled up. But
It
this
is.
young Hornets team with Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier, they're really starting to click, and they've got some big games this week with LeBron and the Lakers coming in town on Friday.
Well, that's an easy win for Charlotte because everybody's beating up on the Lakers. So it's like
Yeah, I didn't want to mention it to you, but it's a little bit of a mess out there right now.
it is. One reason why I probably don't like to talk basketball anymore. I used to get excited to watch Laker basketball, but now it's like, okay, the Lakers are on. Okay, all right, let me watch a good Gunsmoke Western or something. It's sad, but anyway. All right, folks, we are getting you ready for divisional playoff football here. It's getting close. The Super Bowl is going to take place at SoFi Stadium February 13th, and 1 week before that is the Pro Bowl, which will take place in Las Vegas. So if you've never been to a Pro Bowl, you're going to get a shot to see it right there in Las Vegas, and get your tickets there and get on over to Allegiant Stadium and watch that Pro Bowl. But before that, some of these players, some of these teams, these guys are trying not to get in the Pro Bowl, Dustin. They want to play in the Super Bowl, and we are going to make our picks. We just recapped what happened in the Super Wildcard weekend last week, and now we are going to get into the nitty-gritty. We got 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, and just like last week, we will make our predictions for Saturday, even though the games – by the time you hear the show, would have already been played, and hopefully we're going to get it right this time. And then we got the Sunday game. So once again, the show is brought to you by Presidential Limousine by Captain. Get online, look them up. Presidential Limousine by Captain. You know those fancy limos you see riding around in Vegas. It's Presidential Limousine by Captain. Make your reservations. We also brought to you by the Westgate Las Vegas Resort Casino. Get over there and make your bets and enjoy. Just don't make your bets. Stay there. Watch it. Watch the games on those big screens, jumbo screens they got going on over there, and your Pro Bowl bets, your Super Bowl bets, you name it, NBA bets, NHL, all that great stuff. All right, Dustin. Well, let's jump into it, man. We have the 2 games, the Bengals and the Titans. These are your first games that are going to take place, your AFC divisional game. You know what? So, Mr. Picks, I'm gonna give you the stats there. I think the over is 47 points there, over under, however you want to look at that. And the Titans are a 3.5 favorite on this. They're at home. They're the number 1 seed, so they haven't played. They sat around and watched all the games last week, just like me and you. And they're at home. Derrick Henry, I'm told, supposed to be ready. We haven't seen Derrick Henry in since week 5, week 6, something like that. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, and I think I got something on my phone right before we started recording saying that Derrick Henry is ready to start. He's ready to go. Ooh. So he's back, and like you said, they've had some rest. And before I pick this game, I'll just say I know he had some duds last weekend, but I don't see how all 4 of these games, at least 3 or 4, if not all 4, are going to be close games because they're so evenly matched. So I am super excited to pick these games. And after going 5-1, I'm feeling a little pressure. But I'll tell you what, the Bengals and Titans, I mean, obviously the Titans are the 1 seed. They're at home. They're getting their guy back. So they're going to be pumped and they're going to be ready to go. And so I think, they have an edge there. But I've told you the last couple of weeks, Gene, that I'm on the Joe Burrow train. And I'm taking the Bengals. I don't even think, against the Raiders last week that Joe Burrow played that great. And he said it after the game that he was upset with how he played and how they played. And so I think, the swagger that Joe Burrow's got, I think he's going to come out and be ready to go. He's going to look for Jamar Chase. And I think it is going to be another close game, kind of like that Raiders and Bengals game was. But I'm going to pick Joe Burrow to make some plays late. And get a win. And they also get their lead defender, Trey Hendrickson, back. He's going to be playing, which is huge for that D-line. And so I'm going to take the Bengals in an upset.
Well, even though my laptop is not functioning properly here, and I remember my picks, I made them last night, and I sort of looked at this the same way you did, because the one advantage about these teams that have to play on Wild Card Weekend is that they're playing, and that momentum is building. And the one thing I worried about Tennessee, setting and yeah, it's good to have that number 1 seed, but man, sometimes some teams thrive just by playing, And believe it or not, I know you got to win a lot of games consecutively to win that Super Bowl. But I don't know. I just think the Derrick Henry thing, I'm not comfortable with Tennessee having this number one seed. I'm not comfortable with them just sitting around waiting, even though they have weapons now. They have a lot of weapons on this team. And Derrick Henry could be just a big decoy. I mean, if he's 100% healthy, he's going to challenge that Bengals defense. But, man, that Titans defense is going to have their work cut out for them, too. Mixon is playing well, and Chase and Higgins, and I agree with you. I picked the Bengals. I just like the momentum. It's just that momentum, and I know Burrows is not a seasoned quarterback, but this is where heroes are made right now, and there's a reason why they drafted that kid, and there's a reason why they went and got Jamar Chase too, Dustin, and I like the Bengals. I mean, man, you knock off the number one. If you knock off the Titans, then I guess the AFC Championship goes through Kansas City, right?
Yeah, it would go through, I believe, Kansas City or Buffalo, whoever won.
Oh
that
yeah,
game.
Buffalo.
So,
I forgot about Buffalo.
yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, like you said, momentum's a big thing, and I agree with you on the bye. Like it's great to have the number one seed, especially if you got some guys banged up, and that's how they were able to get Henry back. But it also can be a curse sometimes because you can come out slow, and when you have a guy who hasn't played since week 5, you're just not sure how he's going to come out. So. The one thing about it is the Titans got to make sure they come out strong, because if they come out and let Burrow sling it and get a lead, the Titans aren't really a team that likes to play catch-up. They like to ground and pound it, make some plays in the air on play action. So they need to make sure they come out and get off to a good start, and that's where I like the Bengals because, like you said, they've been playing, they've been clicking. And listen, it's not just last week. The last 2 or 3 weeks, they were basically playing playoff games to make sure they won that division, and they needed it on the last week of the year to win it and clinch that division, and so that's what they did. And so, I mean, I like what they're doing, and I think it will be a close game. But like you said, this is where heroes are made, and I think Burrow is going to shine and make some big plays to show that he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league already.
Okay, so we both agree with that first AFC divisional game, and the next one is going to be an NFC divisional game. The 49ers, the red-hot 49ers, they continue to be on the road. I don't even know if they went back home. Maybe they did go back to San Francisco, and now they are going to be in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. And the total on that is 46.5, and the Packers are a 5.5-point favorite. But none of that matters because the 49ers are pumped. They went and did what everyone thought they were going to do, even though they were, it was a 3. It was, and Mr. Picks always says that when it's 3, the Cowboys were only favored by 3. Man, that was telling people something. You at home and you're only favored by 3. That was the telltale sign, right, that the 49ers was going to do something. But now you got a Packers team. Now, this Packers team, unlike Tennessee, this Packers team, they I don't know, boy. They're gonna be ready, Dustin. So I'm gonna let you go first again. Who you like in this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be another great matchup, and this is, I mean, as people know in the past, in the playoffs, this is Aaron Rodgers' nemesis. He has really struggled to beat them. I don't think he's beat the 49ers in the playoffs. And so this is one of his teams where he's trying to prove something and get over that hump against the 49ers. And I'll tell you what, we talked about teams having a bye. I like it. We talked about Tennessee now, having that bye and how it's going to work. I think it works better with the Packers when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers who kind of had a toe injury, getting some guys healthy. Their left tackle is going to be back healthy, ready to go. Bakhtiari. So this is one of those situations where it helps them more. And I just think going into Lambeau, it's going to be 3 degrees again. It's going to be freezing.
Yeah.
I really like what the 49ers are doing. That's why I picked them last week. I like their style. And they have a style to go in there and win with their physicality and their ground game. But the one thing that holds me back on the 49ers, Gene, and it showed out in that Cowboys game, is Jimmy Garoppolo. He just, when a big time comes to make that big play, he makes too many mistakes.
Yeah.
And the Packers defense is underrated. We talk about Aaron Rodgers, but the Packers defense likes to create turnovers. And so I like that. I like them getting some opportunity turnovers. And then I like Aaron Rodgers making them pay. He's on a mission, Gene. He hears all these people talking about him, good or bad. He hears how, this could be his last year in Green Bay. He's trying to prove something to the organization that, hey, you shouldn't have drafted Jordan Love, whatever the case may be. All of it may be made up in his head, Gene, a lot of that stuff. But that's the kind of stuff he is. He's petty. Let's be honest, and he
Yeah,
holds a
he is.
grudge. And
He is.
I think he's on a mission to prove something. And so that's why I'm going to take the Packers to get a win at home.
Yeah, and he's definitely thinking about that 2019 NFC Championship game where the 49ers got the better of him, and the fact, like you said, they're 0-3 or something other against the 49ers. But this is a whole different year, different thing, and not to mention the 49ers are a little bit banged up after that game against the Cowboys last week. So I don't think they're going to have Bosa, and a couple of other players are got banged up. So and then you're going to be playing in a hostile environment there. I like the Packers too. I think the Packers are going to take care of business. They are going to handle things. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. And like you said, man, Aaron Rodgers, call him whatever you want to call him, cocky, snobby, whatever. He's backing it up. He's talking the trash and he's backing it up. He goes out there and plays the game, win, then he goes on McAfee's show, talk trash, and he goes right back out there and backs it up, man. But no, I think this is going to be it's perfect weather for Green Bay, right? And I think what is it, 5.5? Oh, yeah, I think they're going to.
Yeah, 5.5.
This could be an ugly game. This could be like your Bills and Patriots last week. I don't think this game's going to be anywhere close.
I don't see it getting that bad. I think the 49ers are going to come out with a chip on their shoulder as well and play a good close first half. But I could see where you're looking at like a one-score game going late in the third quarter, and then Garoppolo makes a turnover, Aaron Rodgers makes you pay, and then the Packers win by say 10 to 14 points. Because again, if you turn the ball over against Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is going to go down and make you pay. And let's not forget, they have a two-headed monster in the run game now with Dillon and Aaron Jones. So they have that balance to mix it up. Yeah. And they just have too many weapons, especially with guys banged up on the 49ers.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be, I tell you what, those guys, the 49ers, I hope they found a store that sells thermal underwear. They're going to need it.
Yes, they are. And that's the one thing we talk about the bye week hurting teams. But that's the one thing about Green Bay getting out home field is you got to come up there in that Lambeau, that frozen tundra.
We said that. Who wants to play football in Green Bay in January? I mean, we've said that for years. And man, oh well. So we both like the 49ers. I mean, we both like the Packers. We both like the Bengals. So far, Dustin, we're on the same page, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, Gene, but I guess we'll find out.
All right, well, let's see. Let's move over to Sunday's games, man, because this one right here I'm so excited to talk about because oh my goodness, this is going to be one hell of a game. It's your first game on Sunday, NFC divisional game. The Los Angeles Rams will travel to Tampa, Florida, to take on Tom Brady, the Super Bowl, the defending Super Bowl champions. And this right here has a total 48 points, and the Buccaneers are only favored by 3. There's that 3 again, that 3. And all right, I know, Dustin, you've been on these Rams, so I'm gonna let you have the stage, my man.
Yeah, I've been on the Rams for the longest time, and last week I picked against Tom Brady, and of course he makes me look like a moron. But hey, listen, I'm not discounting what the Bucs are doing. When they have Tom Brady, they're going to be right there. They're at home. They're going to have a chance to win. I am a little concerned about their offensive line, though, Gene, with Wirfs being banged up, with their center Ryan Jensen being banged up. I mean, those guys sound like they possibly might play, but if they play, they're definitely not going to be 100%. And when you're going against a D-line like Von Miller, Aaron Donald, all those guys on the D-line, you got to be ready to go. And we saw that it was way early in the regular season when these two teams played in L.A., but the Rams beat the Bucs. And I just think the way they're playing right now, and Gene, one thing I'll say is, how we talked about Stafford having all that pressure to win a playoff game? Well, when you win one, it kind of propels you maybe to make that run because it's kind of off your shoulders. So I like what the Rams are doing. I like Kupp didn't even have that good of a game last week, and I think he'll have a lot better game against the Bucs this week. So it'll be a close game. Tom Brady is going to make it count. He's going to be right there, and he's going to give his team a chance to win. But I like the Rams to get a win just for they're better on both sides of the ball. I like their offense. With Cam Akers back, you talked about him. He's an X factor. But I also now like their defense, and I think their defense is better than the Bucs, and that's what's going to be the difference.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm going to sit up here and praise a team like this and then pick against them. And I was just looking at the TV, and the NFL Power Ranks got the Rams as number 8. I'm like, what are they thinking? I don't know. I mean, unless somebody knows something that we don't know, and unless the winner of the Super Bowl is already predetermined or something. I mean, how can you discount a team that is just red hot? And there's something to be said about the Super Bowl champs only being favored by 3. We saw the Cowboys was favored by 3, and we saw what the 49ers did. You would think with and I kind of understand that line set at 3 because the Buccaneers don't have all their horses. This is not the team not to have all your horses. The Rams are fully healthy and are steamrolling. And it's just, I cannot picture them unless Matthew Stafford and Dustin. Now the game plan here. Now if I'm Tampa and I'm game planning, if you can rattle Matthew Stafford, well then yeah, you got them. I mean, you're gonna really make for a long day. And that Tampa Bay defense is still kind of good against the run, so to speak, but they just got so many weapons, and then the Rams defense is good. So I'm going with the Rams to win. And I've been telling everybody the Rams are going to go in there and take and win this game.
Well, Tom Brady is probably listening to our show, and if he is, how you doing, Tom? And he's probably writing this. He's probably writing this down right now to make sure he comes back and talks to us after the game. But I agree with you. And the biggest key is, you're right, is the run game. If the Rams can get that run game going with Akers and Michelle and Henderson, that opens up that play action for Stafford to Beckham and to Cooper Kupp and to Higbee and to Jefferson, all those weapons. So that's the biggest key, is to make sure they establish that run game. But you're right, the Bucs defense is no slouch. I mean, they have some linebackers, David and those guys, who play really well, so they're going to be ready to go. And Tom's going to make some plays to Mike Evans, but you're going to put Ramsey on Evans, and then now you're really going to have to make those other guys make some plays, those Gronkowskis, those Howards, the Cameron Brates. And that's where you're going to miss guys like Godwin and Antonio Brown. So we'll see what Tom can do. I just really worry about that offensive line being banged up, because I think Aaron Donald, the biggest thing I've seen in the last couple of years with Tom Brady is you get pressure up the middle on him, and that's the biggest difference. And Donald's going to be ready to wreak havoc.
It's funny you mentioned Mike Evans' name, because I had a chance to talk to Mike Evans during the Super Bowl media week last year, and then I had a chance to talk with Andre Wiley after the Buccaneers beat the Chiefs. Wiley was the lineman there, and he was the backup lineman who was trying to defend Patrick Mahomes. So it's just and Evans will be the target. He has to be, because they don't really, Perriman, I guess, and Cameron Brate, but it's going to be a hell of a game. But I got the Rams. I agree with you, Dustin. I got the Rams winning this game, and I really can't wait to see it. And as soon as I say that, Aaron Donald pops up on my TV screen. So that confirms it. That confirms
that's a sign.
it. That's a sign right there. All right. So, and then we got the nightcap there on Sunday, and that's going to be your AFC divisional game. The Buffalo Bills, the red-hot Buffalo Bills, against the red-hot Kansas City Chiefs. Man, this is starting to be somewhat of a rivalry here, because, man, if Chiefs and Bills, I think this is part 3, maybe now. I think part 2, part 3, and Chiefs at home. The total, the overs here is 53.5, so they're expecting a shootout, it seems like. And the Chiefs are only favored to win by 2 points, Dustin.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere on TV this morning that's like the lowest they've been favored at home in a long time. So that goes to show you that the people think the Bills are for real as well.
Wow. Did not know that they were only favored by 2. So, well, I'm going to take a stab at this one. Now, this is where I do not remember what I put on my notes, because had I saw that stat line there, I may have made I don't know. I mean, do the Bills have anything left in them from an offensive standpoint? You know what? I think I had the Chiefs, but you know what? I'm going to go with the Bills. Because I think they are ready to get over the hump now. I think they are ready to make that leap and get into this Super Bowl because they put away New England. It looked scary there for a minute. It looked like Belichick and Mac Jones were going to come back and be a thorn in their side, and they said no, this is not going to happen. We are going to win this AFC East. We're going to go deep in the playoffs. We're going to go to the Super Bowl, and we're gonna get rid of you guys. And now they are going to Kansas City, and they know they know that Kansas City they knew Kansas City was going to be in their way all along, and now they have a chance to knock off the Chiefs and get to that Super Bowl. I think they're gonna beat the Chiefs. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills.
This is probably the first time that this has ever happened on the show, Gene. But we have picked the same on all of the games because I'm taking the Bills as well. So that's us picking 3 out of 4 upsets if you look against the spread. So, but I'm taking the Bills. I like the momentum that they have. I think they're on a mission to prove something. I mean, let's not forget to start this season and the way the Bills started, we had them as the best team in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
And then things kind of went sideways for a little bit, but it looks like they finally found their groove again. They found their identity. You talked about Singletary getting it going in the run game.
Yeah.
Josh Allen using his legs to run, where they finally have that balance of run and pass. And then, I mean, they have weapons too. We talk about Diggs all the time, but they have Emmanuel Sanders. They have Beasley. They have Knox, the tight end. They got guys they can get the ball to. And again, I think the biggest difference in the game, obviously, I think Allen's going to make some plays, but we know Mahomes is as well. And that's where I think the biggest difference is the Bills and that number 1 defense. People don't realize that that's the number 1 defense in the league. And I think I saw a stat this morning, Gene, where they have one of the best pass defenses in the last decade. So that's going to be the key to really stop Mahomes, stop Kelsey and Hill and those guys. And I think that defense and those safeties with Hyde and Poyer are going to be able to make enough plays to eke out a win. This is going to be one of those ones that could be a last possession game. I'm expecting some points as well. And I think that the Bills are going to be able to get Allen to make enough plays and make that one stop that they need late in the game to be able to pull off an upset and go to the AFC Championship.
Ooh, wait, man, I cannot believe we are getting close to that point where by the end of this weekend, we will be down to the final 4. And
that's right.
We come back next week. We're talking championship weekend. It's almost here. It's almost here. So, all right, Dustin, we have made our picks. We're going to stick with them. We're going to grade our papers this weekend, see how we did. We're going to come back and do it again. Folks, hope you have enjoyed our show here. We're going to come back and do this again. Dustin, thanks for coming on, my man.
Hey, thanks, Shane. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the football this weekend.
All right, folks, we are out. See you back here next weekend on the MeanGene Show. You have been listening to the MeanGene Show here on KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM, Las Vegas.